Hi, very good morning. I'm Dr. Janak Patel, MD physician. Today we'll be discussing on one of the very interesting topic in endocrine disorder, that is hirsutism. You know very well hirsutism means excessive growth of the hair which are male character in female. So hirsutism will occur in female. So hirsutism is appearance of excessive coarse variety, or we call terminal variety of hair in a pattern that is not normal in female, or it is also described as abnormal distribution of excess of hair growth on face, chest and upper part of abdomen. There is one similar disorder we call hypertrichosis, that is a growth of a hair in excess of the normal while limited to a normal pattern of distribution, that is in a normal distribution pattern. Then we call that as hypertrichosis. But when there is an excessive growth of hair on face, chest, upper part of abdomen, we call that as hirsutism. This word is derived from Latin word, that is hirsutus, means shaggy or hairy. So excessive growth of a terminal hair in a male sexual sites. It is more common over face, over chest and over upper part of abdomen. This is over the face. It can be on upper part of the chest and even upper part of abdomen. This is back of the abdomen, etc. Then you call that as hirsutism. It is not an increase in number of hair follicle, but alteration in their character also. That is from vellus variety to terminal hair variety. And this is because of androgens, which converts lanugo and vellus hair into terminal hair. It is mainly because of increased production of androgens and the sensitivity of the androgen receptor at the level of the hair follicles. Also partly because of the activity of 5-alpha reductase enzyme. Excessive hair growth can be because of hirsutism because of virulinization or because of hypertrichosis. In hypertrichosis, it is excessive growth of a hair over entire body, all over the body. While hirsutism is a male type sex hair growth in a female. So distribution of the hair is male type. While virilinization means excessive hair growth and other hyperandrogenic effects on external genitals in female. So whenever there is an excessive growth of a lanugo, vellus or terminal hair in a non-sexual sites, we call that as hypertrichosis. These are different pictures which are showing you. This is over the upper lip in the mustache area. It is also called as a congenital hypertrichosis. It is a lanugo hair, so it is called lanuginosa. Lanuginosa. So that is that particular variety. You can see all this. This is hirsutism. This is growth over the beard area, face and neck. This is over the upper lip, and this is, you can see, over the entire face. This is not real, this is artificial. You can see the growth over this area. and almost some of the people may need even shaving. Virulinization refers to a concurrent presentation of hirsutism with a broad range of signs suggestive of androgen excess. So whenever there is an androgen level elevated in female, it will give rise to what we call as a virulinization. And it consists of hirsutism plus hyperandrogenism like acne, bald, we call frontotemporal balding, male variety, or deepening of the voice, decrease in the breast size, and clitoral hypertrophy. All these are the signs of hyperandrogenism. And along with that, there is an increased hair growth over face, neck, upper part of the chest, and upper part of abdomen. Male distribution. There are three words: virilization, defeminization, and masculinization. In defeminization, atrophy of breast and vagina. In masculinization, hirsutism, deepening of voice, and temporal balding, and increase in the size of clitoris, clitoromegaly. And muscular mass is increased and excessive libido. So all this together, defeminization with masculinization together, becomes virulinization. You can have a pure hirsutism, or it can be hirsutism along with acne, overgrowth of pilosebaceous unit. Then we call that as a acne. Hirsutism with ovulatory disorders. By and large in this, it will be more of anovulatory. Hirsutism with the signs of virilization. Any permutation combination can be there. Usually this three will be because of hyperandrogenism, excessive androgen hormones. So hirsutism is a disorder of excess of androgen production, which can be exogenous or endogenous, either from ovary or from adrenal glands. Excess of androgen production will give rise to relative circulating androgen excess, either because of that or because of low binding globulins, that is called sex hormone. Binding globulin becomes less, and there is an excess of end organ response, and you get symptoms and signs. As far as adrenal gland is concerned, there is one condition we call as adrenal cortical hyperplasia, congenital adrenal hyperplasia. So that there is a defect in what we call as a 5-alpha reductase enzyme, and that will give rise to excessive production of androgens. And as far as ovary is concerned, one of the most common is PCOS. Once in a while, it can be because of excessive use of exogenous source of androgens for building up muscles, misuse as far as athletes are concerned. We'll be coming across those particular groups. So most common cause, one is idiopathic. As far as polycystic ovary is concerned, almost it accounts for 82% of the causes. So these two are the most common, idiopathic and PCOS. While you can have a excessive prolactin secretion from pituitary gland resulting into hirsutism, and that we call as a hyperprolactinemia. There are some drugs like carbamazepine, fluoxetine, pregabalin, glucocorticoids, oral contraceptive pills. This can once in a while result into hirsutism. There is one condition as far as the adrenal gland is concerned, we already mentioned congenital adrenal hyperplasia, which is because of alpha reductase enzyme. Alpha reductase enzyme is 17 alpha, sorry, it is 17 alpha reductase enzyme is deficient, and that gives rise to excessive formation of androgens and decreased production of glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. There are some other odd conditions like ovarian tumors, adrenal tumors, severe insulin resistance syndromes, hypertrichosis, etc. But again repeating, three most common: idiopathic hirsutism, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which accounts for almost 82% of the causes. One another is once in a while drug induced, particularly glucocorticoids, oral contraceptive pills, pregabalin. These are some of the common drugs. Fluoxetine and carbamazepine. These are some of the drugs. Almost in 85% of the causes it is because of androgenic, and in some almost we call as another 15% will be idiopathic, and some groups which are non-androgenics. So you can see here PCOS is accounting for almost 80 to 85%. Hyperandrogen level is 6 to 7%, and then comes insulin resistance groups. It is called hyperandrogenic insulin resistance acanthosis nigricans syndrome. It is accounting for 3%. So these are the common, which are because of increased androgen levels. So PCOS, we already mentioned here, PCOS is almost accounting for 80%. So this is accounting for almost 80 to 85%. And then comes what we call as the 21 hydroxylase non-classical adrenal hyperplasia, late onset congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Sorry, it is 21 hydroxy deficiency. So that is a small group. Hyperprolactinemia is also a small group. Androgenic tumors is also a very small group. Cushing syndromes is also a small group, and drug induced is also a small group. The major, these two: hyperandrogenism and PCOS. Non-androgenic variety, it is associated finding in some of these conditions like acromegaly, chronic skin problems, drugs, non-androgenic anabolic drugs like danazol use, metoclopropamide, anabolic steroids, methyl dopa, phenothiazine groups, reserpine, testosterone use, etc. If female is using any one of these, can have hirsutism. Constitutional, or we call idiopathic, very common in some of the groups like African Mediterranean populations, where there is a positive family history, no menstrual abnormality. It is due to increased sensitivity of the hair follicles. As far as ovarian causes is concerned, PCOS comes topmost on the list. Then stromal hypertrichosis, pregnancy luteomas, androgen secreting tumors, and Sertoli leading tumors, which is secreting it is also called as a gynandron blastoma, which is an ovarian tumor, which is arising from Sertoli leading cells. So these are some of the common conditions. Polycystic ovary accounts for the major groups, stromal hypertrichosis, and some of the ovarian tumors, and which will produce what we call as hirsutism. Along with, you can have enlargement of a clitoris, that is secondary sex character. So that will produce virulinization. So muscular body, mustache, atrophy of breast, pigmentation, male distribution type of a hair, and hypertrophy of clitoris, and you can have an even fusion of labium, and that gives rise to what we call as a typical virulinization. So PCOS is accounting for almost, we already told you, 80 to 85% of the causes, and these are some of the ovarian tumors: virulinization ovarian tumors, luteomas, ovarian dysgenesis, also in case of Turner's, etc. Adrenal causes, we already told you, congenital adrenal hyperplasia, where you don't have an androgen excess like Cushing syndrome, or you can have an androgen secreting tumors also. In a pituitary, hyperprolactinemia and growth hormone secreting tumors, which can end up with acromegaly. So it can be one of the feature in acromegaly. Iatrogenic very commonly because of those drugs, and some of the common drugs, anabolic steroids, methyl-dopa, prolonged use of metoclopropamide, danazol, phenothiazine, reserpine, testosterone, etc. All this. And these are some of the other. Another one is minoxidil, penicillamine, phenytoin sodium, streptomycin, hydrocortisone, prolonged use of these drugs. Obesity can be also one of the cause for resulting into hirsutism, and probably in this there are a lot of mechanisms, that is decrease in sex hormone binding globulins, there is dyslipidemia, you will have a dysfunctional uterine bleeding, endometrial hyperplasia, and there is always a chance of malignancy, endometrial carcinoma is common. Ovary will have a PCOS, and that will start producing increased androgen production, and also pancreas will produce insulin resistance, and all this can end up with hirsutism. This is acanthosis nigricans. These are some of the ovarian tumors, adrenal tumor, ACTH secreting tumors. They are also related to hirsutism. This already we have mentioned. Once in a while you can have an ectopic ACTH secreting tumors like tumors of lung, GI tract tumors, pheochromocytoma, ovarian tumors. Also there can be a thymic tumors, pancreatic tumors from thyroid gland, bronchial carcinoma, etc. These are all miscellaneous groups. I'm skipping over all those. This is a rare variety we already mentioned. There is hypertrichosis, congenital hypertrichosis, lanuginosa, which can be there. And this is generalized hypertrichosis, sex-linked dominant disorder. These are acquired, secondary due to underlying malignancy or because of the drugs. There is one called Poem syndromes. Then Porphyria cutaneous tarda. These are rare conditions. You can have a localized variety. It can be congenital, it can be acquired. As far as pathology is concerned, we already mentioned before that it is because of increased level of androgens or increased sensitivity of the hair follicle to androgens. Also, insulin resistance will give rise to increased hyperandrogenism. And this hyperandrogenism, this is the pathophysiology which is being explained because of genetic factor, because of tyrosine kinase defect, or because of autoantibody to insulin receptor, insulin resistant, hyperinsulinemia. Secondary to hyperinsulinemia, there is an ovarian insulin receptor. There is increased secretion of FSH-LH. Ovarian growth factor is growth factor, insulin growth factor receptors are also increased, so there is an excessive ovarian stimulation which will give rise to PCOS and hypertrichosis, as well as decreased level of sex hormone binding globulin. There will be free testosterone level will be elevated, that will again result into hyperandrogenism, and it will end up with hirsutism. So this is basically that particular vicious cycle which will be ending up with obesity and resulting into what we call as hirsutism. This is hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis dysfunction which occurs in PCOS, and there is anovulation with excessive androgens level which is produced at the level of ovary. So this is the pathophysiology of polycystic ovarian syndrome which we will be discussing separately. This is androgens level excess either by adrenal gland or from ovary, and androgens are metabolized in skin, adipose tissue, liver and placenta, and that can end up with what we call as the androgen level excess. So 90% is produced by adrenal gland, 10% is only produced by ovary. So adrenal abnormality can increase the level of androgens in female, and in 20%, in 10% of the people, it will be from ovary. So you can derive sometime because of ovarian tumor, this percentage will increase. Production of this hormone will increase, and that will have a hyperandrogenism. So in a hirsutism in female is because of decreased level of sex hormone binding globulin, and as the sex hormone binding globulin decreases, the free testosterone level becomes more than normal female. Instead of 1%, it becomes 2%, and that will give rise to what we call as excess of androgen excess, and that will produce hirsutism. This is ovarian tumor, PCOS, and this is because of adrenal tumors. This is the distribution of the hair. What will happen on abdomen, on chest, on the face? Very common. So instead of lanugo hair, you have got a terminal hair distribution. This is site of a hair. I'm skipping over all those. The presentation mainly what we call as a distribution of the hair, excess plus your external genitals becoming virilization secondary due to excess of androgen hormones. And this is a very peculiar distribution. Either you can have a hirsutism alone, or hirsutism with acne, or hirsutism with ovarian disorders, or we call it an ovulatory disorder, particularly an ovulatory cycle, and hirsutism with a sign of virilization like clitoris megaly. This is acne, this is hirsutism, and this is clitoromegaly. And hair distribution will be on the upper lip, chin, sideburns area, upper part of the neck, chest, upper arm, lower part of abdomen, intergluteal region, perineum, thigh, etc. And depending upon that distribution, different points are given. You can have acne, you can have seborrhea, you can have alopecia, which is male distribution type of alopecia, and also you can have acanthosis nigricans. So this is excessive growth distribution on the upper lip, chin and neck region, over abdomen and chest. You can see the distribution, hair growth distribution over upper part of the chest and even the face, axilla, etc. This is over the face. These are acne, and these are the scoring system which are being done. These are scoring system. Depending upon the distribution, you give the different marks and calculate what is the score, and you can put them accordingly. So 9 areas are selected. So if it is more than 8 points, then we call that as a hirsutism. So this is minimal, mild, moderate and severe variety, and you look at this 9. So if in 8 area, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So these are the 9 area, and you calculate how severe it is, and accordingly you give the points. And if the point is more than 8, clear cut hirsutism. This is baldness, or we call alopecia, what is occurring, which is of a male variety. You can get also in case of a thyroid disorders, Cushing syndromes, insulin resistance, acanthosis nigricans, which is a sign. You try to identify that particular, this is acanthosis nigricans, which you can see over the neck and in axillary area also. In virilization, you will have acne, you will have a deepening of the voice, you will have atrophy of the breast, you will have a male distribution pattern of the hair growth and clitoris enlargement. Also, you can have a galactorrhea. This galactorrhea is very frequently associated with a hyperprolactinemia because of excessive adrenal androgens, and you will have a breast atrophy. Excessive growth of a thin vellus hair at any body sites, we'll call that as hypertrichosis. This is PCOS, we already discussed. We'll be showing you in that PCOS chapter. This is what we call as a virilization in congenital adrenal hyperplasia. The genital is normal at birth. Because of excessive androgens, you will have a precoccygeal puberty, clitoromegaly, excessive facial body hair, and accompanied by a tall stature, masculinization, oligomenorrhea, infertility, etc. So these are the features which you come across in adrenal tumor. These are the features you come across in ovarian tumors. At your leisure time, you can go through. These are the different three common conditions: PCOS, congenital adrenal hyperplasia, and idiopathic hirsutism. These are the difference between these three conditions on menstrual pattern, testosterone level. This is dehydroandrogens, LH, 17 hydroxy 17 hydroxy enzymes, and ovarian, whether androgen is from ovary or from adrenal gland or from skin. These are difference in hyperandrogenism, and this is a difference in adrenal tumors and ovarian tumors. At your leisure time, if you are interested, you can go through. This is how you approach to a person, female, with hirsutism. You examine the external genitals, whether it is ambiguous or non-ambiguous. Then you look at the hair distribution, vellus distribution or a terminal hair distribution. Look at the menstrual history. Here, examine or take a history for medical history of some medication, and very frequently it will be because of medical, which will give rise to excess of vellus growth. We usually call that as hypertrichosis. While if there is a terminal hair growth, look at the menstrual history. If it is abnormal, go for further. And if it is normal, look at the hair pattern, female type of or male variety. If it is a male variety, it is because of external use of androgens or maybe because of hyperandrogenism. And in an ambiguous variety, look for medical genetic consultation or look for congenital adrenal hyperplasia. And if there is a congenital adrenal hyperplasia, you will have to treat with glucocorticoids. So these are different flow charts which tells you that any menstrual abnormality is there, then go for plasma testosterone level. If plasma testosterone is increased, probably neoplastic, more than 200, rule out neoplastic syndromes. And in that you will have to go for MRI, look at the ovary, look at the adrenal glands, and rule out adrenal tumors or ovarian tumors. And if the testosterone level is less than 200, then you can go for 17 hydroxy progesterone level. If it is more than 1000, it is a non-classical congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Then you will have to treat with hydrocortisone. And if it is less than 1000 nanograms progesterone level, then look at the BMI. If it is increased, it is an insulin resistance probably because of the excessive obesity. Go for a weight loss, and it will be one of the very useful treatment in that particular condition. And if there is a normal BMI, what you do, all these are given in detail. At your leisure time, you can go through. So these are all the different investigation. Mainly clinical examination becomes very, very useful. And then you can go for a laboratory parameters. In laboratory parameters, these are clinical examination. Look at the hair distribution, look for the acne, look for virilization signs like masculinizations, clitoris enlargement, menstrual irregularity, etc. Palpate for ovarian mass, look for external and internal genitals. All this history, drug history, and when you go for a laboratory parameter, look for testosterone, sex hormone binding globulins, hydroxyprogesterone, dehydroepiandrosterone, prolactin, TSH level, and also look for polycystic ovary by ovarian ultrasound. You can go for transvaginal ultrasound also. So these are the some of the common ovarian tumors will be PCOS or other ovarian tumors. Look for sex hormone binding globulins which can be elevated, and that can also give rise to hirsutism. And look at the ovarian and adrenal tumors. You can go for FSH-LH level because that will be abnormal in case of a PCOS, and look for dehydroepiandrosterone level or 70 alpha hydroxyprogesterone level, which will be abnormal in case of adrenal tumors. So try to rule out those by undergoing investigations. So this is for PCOS, and these are for what we call as the adrenal tumors. You try to rule out congenital adrenal hyperplasia or other adrenal tumors. So testosterone level, dehydroepiandrosterone level, and 17 hydroxy progesterone level. So testosterone level will be elevated in ovarian tumor and adrenal hyperplasia. 17 hydroxy epiandrosterone level will be also abnormal. Dehydroepiandrosterone level will be also abnormal in case of adrenal tumors. ACTH level, cortisol level will be very helpful because ACTH level will be elevated, cortisol level will be reduced, aldosterone level will be reduced, and 17 hydroxyprogesterone level will be elevated in congenital adrenal hyperplasia. And also that will be associated with increased level of testosterone, and urinary 17 ketosteroids level will be also elevated. Once you make the diagnosis, general treatment, specific treatment, local and surgery. Counseling for cosmetic purpose, combine oral contraceptive pills. There are some drugs which will help like spironolactone, reassurance, stop smoking, weight reduction is very helpful. Try to eliminate the causative factor. One of the factor is drugs. So avoid using drugs. Weight reduction is very, very helpful. And local treatment by bleaching, electrolysis, shaving, lesser treatment, etc. can be done. For ovarian suspension or suppression, we call oral contraceptive pill, progesterone, gonadotropic releasing hormone. For adrenal suppression, you can use glucocorticoids, anti-androgens, drugs like spironolactone or cyproterone. You can use also ketoconazole or flutamide. 5-alpha reductase inhibitor like finasteride. Insulin sensitizer can be used particularly in case of a PCOS like metformin. Locally, we have already told you, you can use certain drugs, bleaching, chemicals, shaving, waxing, plucking, electrolysis, lesser treatment, etc. These are all the different modes of treatment, what you can do. And surgery is mainly done for tumors. Mainly done for tumors. These are all the different drugs which can be utilized If you are interested, you can go at your leisure times. These are cosmetic treatments, bleaching, shaving, plucking, waxing, different types of cream, electrolysis, laser treatment, etc. As far as complication is concerned, there is always a complication of basic etiology. Depending upon the basic etiology, you can have added complications. In conclusion, if response is seen in 6 months, then treatment should be continued for further 6 months. In most of the cases, may require for few years. So I end my lecture here. Hope this lecture will be helpful to you.